Yeah. Greg Rice says, should all RAS testing be mandatory? If so, how would you enforce that? No. Nothing in this country should be mandatory. That's how I've always felt. It's a free country, man. You can do whatever you want. Now, there's gonna be penalties with that. Teams are gonna go, man, he didn't want to compete, right?
Yep.
And those prospects are facing stuff like that. But I
I
never
agree.
liked that. It's like the whole Deion Sanders thing. Let's talk about it real quick. We got a few minutes here. You guys know what we're referring to, right? Where Deion jumped on the scout at the pro day, right? And basically told him, don't listen to this guy. He said, he basically
Told his players not to listen to the scout, right? Yeah.
Right. So, and I heard Ryan talking about it, and I love how passionate Ryan is about it. We tend to drive away in different directions on topics like this a little bit, because the way I look at the pro day is not the combine, you know? And let me give you guys a little backstory. There's a video that surfaced. I would play it, but I'm sure somebody's already posted on YouTube. AI will grab it and they'll go, they stole our video, and we'll be in trouble. Okay. So, and unfortunately, we're not live on Rumble right now, or else that wouldn't even be an issue. So basically what happened was there's a video that surfaced of a scout showing the Colorado Buffalo players how to run the 40. When I say how to run the 40, showing them how to get down in a three-point stance, get set, and go, right? Well, Deion walks over and basically says, y'all do what y'all do. Do what you do. Don't worry about what the F he says. Something along those lines, right? And Ryan was very, very animated. Like, man, he sided with, like, it's rude to act like that. And again, you guys go listen to the podcast. I don't want to misspeak for him. I can see that. Would I have responded that way? No. But if I walked up and felt like that scout is out of line, like the scout, it's not a combine. This is the Colorado Pro Day. The teams, they didn't go to the teams and go, y'all, please come look at our players. The team said, hey, put on a pro day and we'll come watch them, right? So Deion has full control, and he's very, very protective of his players. Why is he protective of his players? Go watch the 30 for 30, I think it was, where he dumps the water on the reporter in the Atlanta Braves locker room during the World Series. Like, he had a lot of run-ins with the media, and he doesn't like how these players are sometimes treated. Now, you can disagree with that. I disagree with him most of the time in that regard. But if they're invited into that pro day, and this scout got out of line trying to tell them exactly how to run the 40-yard dash, this and that. Again, Colorado was putting the pro day on, not the scouts. So to me, it kind of felt like the scout was overstepping his boundaries a little bit. And when you look at scouts, we're not talking about a general manager. Guys,
we're not talking about a coach either. These are scouts. Yeah.
This is a scout. Like, understand, they are scouts everywhere. Like, and listen, I've been offered the opportunity. Hey, would you like to get into scouting? And I got a business to run. Like, what kind of money are we looking at? What kind of hours?
You want to travel 325 days out of the year
and be extremely underpaid and live out of a hotel room?
Yeah, go be a scout.
Yeah. So it's not like these guys are like these upper echelon. Hey, look, let me show you how to. It seems to me like this dude kind of overstepped his boundaries a little bit. And you look at the way the players reacted on the tape; they're kind of grinning, looking at him like, "What, Coach Prime just put him in his place." Because it was just, I don't know, the whole thing was strange to me. I've never seen that happen at a pro day where one single scout's off to the side and it's like he's trying to tell people how to run a 40-yard dash. So anyway, I tend to lean toward Coach Prime getting defensive over his players. I was looking for a comment from him, but I couldn't find anything. So obviously the cameras are everywhere. They're going to pick up on the video. I want to get your all's take on that because I have a sneaking suspicion I'm probably in the extreme minority here, but I try to look at it through the rules and parameters of said pro day. This is Colorado's event. Who the hell is this scout coming in here trying to all of a sudden take charge and tell our play? And what Deion was saying was like, run the 40 how you want to run the 40.
Right.
They're here as guests for us. They don't run our show here. So I want to get your all's take on it.
I mean, just listening to Ryan's pod, I think like what I got from it, his kind of point was, the execution could have been better on Deion's part, like to be that example to your players. And to maybe step and grab that scout and walk them and have a conversation rather than cussing them out in front of your players and telling your guys, hey, you don't have to do that. It was kind of like I felt like his take was the execution could have been better. It's not a good look to just be cussing out scouts. But, I think you bring up a really good point, though. It's not the Scouts Pro Day. It's Colorado's Pro Day. And they're not anybody's players but Deion. until they're drafted. So I can understand him being defensive. We know his whole story, the whole reason he agreed to get into coaching at the collegiate level. He's been asked several times about going to the NFL, and he said he didn't want to. He wanted to help young players, on their way to becoming pros. And I think it's something he takes seriously, and that's probably why he got a bit defensive when it came to some scout telling his guys how to stand running a 40-yard dash. So I get your point, Clayton.
Yeah, and look, Prince knows what we're talking about. He says, Tim McCarver, quote, "Oh, you're a real big man, Deion." You guys got to see that. You can find it on YouTube where this dude was running his mouth on Deion. Deion snuck back in during the victory party in the locker room and hit old boy in the face with some ice water or something because he'd been talking trash about Deion all week long. What I don't respect is when people talk behind other people's back. Like we say it on this pod all the time. If I wouldn't say it to a player or a coach's face, I'm not saying it on this pod. That's chicken poopy. Go ahead, Jacob. What's your take on this, man?
I'm not even gonna pretend. I honestly don't care. I just don't. Like, to me, it's Deion has a certain way of coaching. His players have a certain way of understanding the way he coaches. Anybody else from the outside looking in can kind of go kick rots. And at the same time, like, it seems like a real kind of clickbaity type thing just to get people talking. Not saying that's what you did, but I'm just saying it feels like Coach Prime is always going to be button heads with the media in some type of way. And I feel like this was just another reason for the media to kick up a story, to get a quote, to stir some drama. And I think Deion did the same thing because it's like anytime, especially during pre-draft, most news is good news unless you're Isaiah Bond. You know what I mean?
If Deion's done one thing, it's been being consistent, right? Deion has been Deion since day one. He'll be that till the very end. He's consistent. So I'm with you, Jacob, to a certain extent. Like, I don't understand why anyone's even shocked or appalled anymore. It's like this is how dude rolls, It'd be like being mad at Dennis Rodman for having purple hair.
Well, I didn't hear anything about were the students or the players, were they so offended they needed to have comment? Was Deion so offended that it needed to be a story? Was the scout even so offended that it needed to be brought up? I feel like it was just a thing that happened.
Yeah. Or like somebody else was standing on the sideline and just overheard it, and then they ran right with the story.
Oh my
God.
Away.
Yeah. Exactly. So again, we're talking about, because Greg Rice said, should all RAS testing be mandatory? If so, how would you enforce that? Just kind of having this conversation about it. Chuck says many employers have mandatory testing before being hired. How can you justify that take? They do have mandatory testing. If the league wants to do mandatory testing, they can do that. Yep. But also, it's a free country. The players can say, no, not doing it. And guess what? It's a free country. The employers can go, I'm not hiring you. But this whole idea of like, herd them up like cattle, boys. You want to play in the league, you better jump for me. I just can't subscribe to that.
And you're right. The NFL would have to, clear that through the NFLPA, right? And they'd have to make this a part of the CBA with the players and make it official. They haven't done that. So,
right. Exactly. Jay Beesky 12 says Pac Daddy took the other side, but to be honest, I agree with Primetime. There you go. And listen, I understand Ryan's standpoint too. Like, it's not like whoa, what a horrible take. I was listening to it going, yeah, man, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good
totally
point.
Valid. Yep.
Yeah. But at the end of it, I was like, I think I probably, and again, we don't know all the details, but I kind of side with Coach.
I think
Brown.
Maybe like to Tim's point, and if I understood Ryan correctly, it was more like, okay, you're supposed to be this leader of men, this developer of character, and that's how you are showing a prime example of how you deal with adversity. It's like cussing a guy out, making him seem maybe insignificant or small. Mm-hmm. I would agree that like that's not a good look, but it's football. It ain't touch football with feelings attached.
That's the thing. Like when people and Ryan, I'm not saying Ryan did this at all, but I hear a lot of fans, they get upset, like with Aaron Rodgers. He's yelling at he's yelling at his teammate. Y'all have never been in a damn huddle, boy. Let me tell you. Y'all have never been in a locker room. There are fists flying in the locker room. And then you go out on that field and you headbutt, you strap it up, and you go to battle with each other, right?
I'll do you one better. I don't want to be a part of a team that guys aren't doing that.
Exactly.
Because then nobody gives a crap. There's no passion. There's no standard. Nobody's trying to hold each other accountable.
Bingo.
It's normal to see a little fire and brimstone, a little frustration, right? You're trying to pick your guys up.
Yeah. Adam Block said it's called setting boundaries. That's probably a good way of explaining how I felt about it. Like, you got to know, all right, going in, this is our pro day. We're running this thing. And it gets just weird. Like, I think Drew said it. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Drew said, I kind of feel like we just don't have enough info on about what exactly was going on because, like in that whole situation, who was this guy? How did he get down in the front of all of the players telling them how to run the 40? And it's
That's
obvious Deion didn't appoint him. But you know what? If we were to play devil's advocate, it may have been a situation where someone at Colorado's pro day did appoint him and Deion didn't know it, and then Deion spoke out of line.
Well, I was going to say, dude, every combine I've ever watched, you remember they gather up and there's an instructor who literally says, this is how you do it. You have to hold it for a second. If your arm goes up before it goes, we've all seen that. Yep. So maybe it was just a guy thinking, this is my job. This is what I got to say. And to that point, maybe, that is a little bit annoying if Deion just went and berated some random dude that got hired to do specifically what he did.
That's the thing, though. According to Deion,
it was
his reaction. He wasn't hired to do that.
Yeah.
So this is something.
So I'm wondering, but that could be an indictment on Colorado's pro day too. Like maybe they didn't have their guy there. Maybe their guy wasn't there, and now some scout walks over and is, playing John Madden.
I can picture him snapping his. All right, boys, I got this. That guy. Everybody, line up over here. Let me
He's
show
got
you
those polyester shorts on from the 1980s.
Oh yeah.
Chuck Jaggers says Deion should protect his boys. We all wish we had a kid in that college. It's Deion coaching. Hey, that's the thing too. That's what draws people to Coach Prime. And listen, that program is, boy, he flipped that thing real quick.
Yep.
And it's because they know Deion's going to go to bat for the players. Like they know that Deion is and listen, there's a certain level of that's Deion Sanders. We're going to get nationally televised games. That's a big part of why these prospects want to go there and play and get their talent showcase as well. So I'm glad we covered it. That was a good conversation. I love hearing everybody's different viewpoints on it because there's going to be many times that I disagree. And sometimes you'll hear me all the time on this pod. I'll look up and go, damn, I'm in the minority because I'm wrong here. Something's, I wanted to see what everybody was kind of saying. It looks like it's somewhat split, but again, I definitely agree that it's everything's blown out of proportion for sure. So, all right, that's going to do it.